Dear Mr. Todori, our core management team is here tonight to present you the revenue management simulation of the MINNC Hotel.
To introduce our hotel MINNC, our hotel is 3 to 4 star full service hotel in the city center waterfront site, 250 rooms. Here you can see our facilities. Our hotel targets business travelers, large groups, specifically MICE, small groups. Our KPI in the previous year before our simulation started, our ADR was $160, GOP was 70% and occupancy 54%.
Following the month of March, when we have increased prices tremendously, as a consequence, the month of April was the only month where our occupancy was underneath the market, generating guest dissatisfaction.
Okay, so in this chart, we can see the performance overview of our revenue and profits. We can see the fluctuations of our revenue, profit, and GOP. In this graph, it shows the performance overview of the KPIs that we're later going to analyze it during our presentation. Quarter 1. We decided that there won't be any rate parity due to distribution channel costs. Our reasoning for the rates was to install higher prices for weekdays, since the occupancy is higher on those days because our main target are business travelers. We can see that our rates for OTA and GDS are higher because of distribution costs. In this slide, we can see that this graph shows the market indexes at the end of quarter 1. We can see that because of those changes in rates, the RevPAR index stagnated, the occupancy index decreased, and the ADR index increased. We conclude that our rates were probably too high compared to the quality of the hotel. This graph shows the pricing at the end of quarter 1. We can see that our room rates for the first quarter increased strongly from January to March to catch up with the competition and be higher than the average price. This table shows the performance review and competitive set for March. We can see that the MPI index is high, so occupation rate is superior to our competitors. The ARA index indicates that our prices are below the competition, and to finish, RGAI is slightly above average, so our revenue is close to other hotels.
Beginning of the quarter in January, we chose 40% for direct as we knew that this was the least amount of costs involved in the investment. Moreover, as our target segment was business, qualified, and the MICE group, we wanted to put more importance in the direct segment where the qualified will contact us. This explains why we put 50% for direct for the large group and spread the percentage for the rest according to the most accessible channel, according to their booking behavior we forecasted. Same concept applied for the small group. By the end of the quarter, we increased the OTA and decreased the amount of direct in order to increase our exposure to the business transients that we have been losing due to the focus of business qualified groups in the last months. In order to increase the OTA, we decreased the amount of importance and investment given to the direct.
Our main target market are business travelers and large groups. We have decided to invest most in advertising through our direct booking channels, as business travelers book mostly through the hotel, and large groups as well, aiming to get a discounted rate. Based on the market momentum and our positioning in it, we kept increasing the amount invested in each channel, allocating the least to the wholesales. In the last month of quarter 1, we kept increasing our advertising expenses, also focusing more on weekdays and weekends due to our main target markets. The start of the year was not ideal, as our rate increased too fast and too abruptly while not having the expected services and facilities. We have invested more in weekdays than in weekends, as weekdays considered our main target. And in terms of marketing advertising, we started with $2,000 in weekdays advertising and increased it up to $4,000. Investing in meetings for weekends didn't make sense, and hence we only allocated $900 by the end of the quarter. As facilities, we only purchased the lobby bar, believing it would add value to our business customers, and the services we invested in concierge, turn-down service, and music and entertainment. We invested very much in refurbishments in the first quarter, hoping to position our hotel superior to our competitive set. Unfortunately, our customers were not satisfied. The first request for proposal was received in March. Our management team did not want the group as they had a daily allotment for F&B and laundry, and we benchmarked to the bar. So for the future, we recommend to focus on the displacement calculation, and our minimum rate was $165.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about quarter 2. For quarter 2, we decided to decrease premium rates by 20% because we lost occupancy from March to April. We'll also decrease the rate prices for large groups by 20% because the level of occupancy was low and our aim is to attract large business groups. For May and June, we did not change the rates because we just bought facilities and we wanted to see the impact on our occupancy. and if our rates were not a problem. By buying tours, we can attract more groups to our hotels. This graph shows the pricing at the end of quarter 2. We can see that we decreased our room rates for the second quarter because we're superior to the average and wanted to increase our occupancy rate in order to increase our revenue to buy refurbishment for the high season. This table shows a performance review and competitive set for June. We can see that NPI index is still high, showing that our occupancy level is good. The ARI is higher than in quarter 1, but not enough. We can now increase our rates for quarter 3. And to finish, the RGI index decreased since quarter 1 because we spent a lot in refurbishment.
Beginning of the month, we raised the direct distribution channel back to 40% for all segments. This was in order to balance out the increase in direct. We reduced the OTA percentage back to 20%. This action was taken due to the decrease of our focus on transient guests. Our goal is to encourage the usage of direct, and OTA is only a source of exposure for guests to encourage the use of the direct. After receiving satisfied feedback from the customer review, we gained confidence to raise direct back to 40%. We figured that OTA could be decreased in order for the increase of direct as our hotel was more known. We put 20% back on the OTA as this is the industry norm and we wanted to avoid the high costs put in the previous month. Moreover, we wanted to reduce costs in order to prepare for investments made to improve our facilities in the future. Our changes in the end of the month, after viewing the rooms report for the current month, we felt a need to drastically increase the direct distribution channel for large and small groups. Due to our significant increase in the direct channel, we decided to decrease wholesale to 0% as we felt that large groups will always contact hotels directly and wanted to encourage the small groups to book directly for profitability reasons. Moreover, high season indicated the possibility to increase the prices with the refurnishments. For all segments, we raised the percentage of OTAs. In the high season, we wanted to appeal to the majority of the market, and OTA we figured was the easiest way of customers to reach us during the high season.
All throughout the second quarter, we maintained a constant advertising investment, observing the occupancy going up as an effect of the investment in the first and second quarter. The increasing occupancy is also due to the fact that a high season is approaching. As mentioned, we kept investing more and more in weekdays than in weekends. Meetings and events advertising was kept constant at $4,000 for weekdays and $900 for weekends, while investing in a retail shop, valet parking, and a travel and tour agency for our weekend leisure travelers. Our management team believes that the travel tour investment wasn't necessary as it turned out not to be very profitable. Customer feedback was positive in terms of advertising, generating satisfied customers, yet our facilities were still not up to our customers' expectations. Our second request for proposal required 2,800 rooms. The only required rooms, no F&B or ancillary revenue. It was also supposed to be between Monday and Friday morning. Hence, it was the period where our occupancy was the highest. And based on the displacement calculations, we realized we do not want this group. Hence, we set our rate for $125.
In quarter 3, in July, we decided to increase the weekend rate by 20% for all channels due to the investments we made in facilities as well as our hotel entering a high demand season. In this month, we decided to ignore the upper limit for our rates due to the high season. In the last month of the quarter, we decided to decrease all our rates by 10%, and the reasoning behind it is the fact that we are now entering a lower season as the high season is ending, and we wanted to still attract our target customers. So, the effect of these rate changes on the market indexes of this quarter are seen on the following graph. Occupancy, of course, increased during high season, then went back down. ADR index had the same effect, and RevPAR decreased during high season, then went back up. And the reason behind that was due to us investing heavily in refurbishment during the months of July and August. Due to the decisions we made in our room prices, we can see that our prices were above the average price, especially in the month of August. According to the competitive set table for the end of the quarter, we can see that the occupancy index and RevPAR index are above the market, while ADR index is below, matching our strategy. In the beginning of the third quarter, in order to appeal our potential customers even further during upcoming high season, we believed that refurbishment was necessary in order to justify our price and quality. Our goal was to position our hotel to be favored by our clients due to the quality and experience,
not because of the price sensitivity. As seen in the graph for bar standard, when compared to quarter 2, we increased OTAs and decreased direct for 5%. OTAs are the most accessible for customers, hence we figured that raising their percentage is the right move. Moreover, we figured that our new refurbishment would be known about. However, direct and GDS were both higher than OTAs due to profitability they bring while keeping the costs much lower than the OTAs. During the third quarter, for both large groups and bar standard, the percentage allocation for the weekdays and weekends are the same. This could have been done a bit differently, since the percentage allocated to the weekdays and weekends should not be exactly the same. Again.
All throughout the third quarter, we maintained the same advertising investment and as in the second quarter, observing the occupancy going down as an effect of the high rates that we set in order to match the high season demand. There were no more affordable facilities to invest in, and in regards to the services, we bought everything except for the transport van. MINNC's investment stayed the same as being positioned fourth in regards to the amount invested in our competitive set. We invested very much in July in refurbishments exactly during the high season. We realize now that it would have been better to invest maybe before the high season, as well as completing the deep cleaning every 6 months, not just at the beginning of the month or just at the end. And here you can observe the graphical representations of the amounts invested in refurbishments in each of the 4 quarters, with the highest investment having been made during the high season. Our customers kept appreciating our advertising, and hence we continued investing in it. Our third request for proposal minimum rate was $150, higher than the previous month. We didn't want the group as they would occupy the hotel only for the weekends. Due to the circumstances of the high season, we assumed that the leisure challenges, would occupy the weekends with a higher rate.
In quarter 4, we decreased all our rates by 5% and later by 20% for all outlets in order to see if we can still attract some customers during the low season. According to the pricing bar graph for the quarter 4, we can see that at first our prices were above competition. However, throughout the quarter, our prices went back to our strategy of price penetration by being below the market in order to attract our market segment. According to the market index graph of the end of the fourth quarter, we can deduce that the decrease in ADR was due to our decrease in prices, and the occupancy index was stagnant because the high season was done. However, there was an increase in December, even though we did not change the rates. As for RevPAR index, the slow decrease and then the sharp increase was because we decreased the prices. Finally, according to the competitive set for the end of the month, we maintained our strategy of ARI below the competition and MPI as well, as RGI above the competition.
During the last quarter, we have not changed anything in regards to the large groups. Large groups at 60% direct for quarter 3, which is quite high, and it brought us a lot of profit and the costs were minimized. Hence, we left the 60% for large groups for the last quarter as well. On the other hand, we did change the percentage for bar standard. On average, we increased direct from quarter 3 to quarter 4, but we decreased both OTAs and GDS. We left wholesale to be 5% because it is very costly and does not bring a lot of profit. As mentioned in quarter 3, for this quarter, we also left the percentage of weekdays and weekends to be the same for both large groups and bar standards, as you can see in the graph. Our management team should have focused more on allocating the right percentage to the right customers depending on the demand volume on weekdays and weekends.
From October to November and December, we increased the amount invested in direct channels as our market momentum was very low. We should have also increased OTA and GDS advertising in order to attract more customers, as the fourth quarter is more of a low season. The correlation between occupancy and advertising is perfectly clear in the fourth quarter, and in November and December, we almost doubled the amount invested in weekdays than in weekends. There were no changes in services, facilities, nor in refurbishment, and our guest feedback remained positive in terms of advertising. The last request for proposal that we got was the only request that we really wanted, as it was during the low season. They also requested rooms during the weekdays, but this would have helped us as our occupancy went down in the fourth quarter. Based on our displacement calculations, we have decided that the minimum rate to be $90.
The graph, the hotel should renovate the rooms before the high season in quarter 2, not in quarter 3, and think about the time it's going to take to refurbish. We should also observe how competition manages their rates and stay in line with our positioning and pricing strategy.